Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Journey of the Master. I'm Sara Landon, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you. And on this particular episode, we are talking about living in the fifth dimension. So I'm so excited for this conversation with all of you today. So thank you to everyone who is joining us live. So good to see you all in the comments. Hi, Carol. Hi, Catherine, Jessica, Ivy, Monica, Francis, Castle. So good to see you. Hi to everyone who is joining us live. And if you're catching the replay, we are so happy that you are here. You can find many more Journey of the Master podcast episodes on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform, whichever you prefer. We do these every month, and it is one of my great joys. I love to dive deeper into these topics and conversations and answer your questions as well. We will be bringing in the council for their perspective on living in the fifth dimension. So we will talk more about the council right before we bring them in, but be sure to stay tuned for their live message to us today, their channeled message about living in the fifth dimension and just the basic updates of what to be aware of at this time. It's always the perfect message. So, the fifth dimension, living in the fifth dimension. I have to say, even when I was preparing for this podcast episode today, I am one of those people who is really practical. I remember years ago, I read the book, The Power of Now. And at the time, I just didn't understand how being in the present moment, how the now moment, living in the power of now was really going to make my life so much better. And as I heard terms in my past years ago, things like the third dimension, fifth dimension, fourth dimension, those things, I really didn't understand until I started channeling the council what that really meant in my life and how profoundly life changing it is when you start to understand that there are different dimensions of consciousness and life is very, very different based on the dimension of consciousness that you are focused in any moment. So I hope to demystify that a bit today, make it a very practical, approachable conversation, and also really bring to light how incredible it is once you elevate your consciousness and your vibration and start living in the fifth dimension, as the council refers to, of pure love. So that is what we're talking about today. Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. We have a couple of exciting things that I just want to make sure that you're aware of. You can always subscribe to our channel and be notified of new upcoming episodes that are available and join us live for those, as well as channeled messages from the council live. You can also go to our website, saralandon.com. And one of the things I want to highlight is a recent message. If you are catching this live, it was recorded on September 6th, 2023. And under free resources on our website, you will see the highlights from that channel message from the council called The Updated Version of You, especially if you are listening to this live. But whenever you listen to it will be the perfect time. It is such a powerful time to really integrate every part of you and to step into the upgraded version of you. And I truly believe that is what is preparing us to live in the fifth dimension of pure love, where your well-being and your abundance is assured. So you can find that free resource under free resources at saralandon.com, as well as many, many other channeled messages. I recommend to people just scroll through and find a particular topic or title that lights up for you and start there. If you want more, I encourage you and invite you to join our upcoming new live channeled course starting on September 28th, 2023. That is called Happily Ever After, the absolute knowing of life's divine unfolding. And I would maybe add to that, the absolute knowing of life's divine perfect unfolding. So you can join us for that live channeled course on September 28th. You can also find more information about that at saralandon.com. If you're watching this sometime in the future, you can find the replay of that available to you under our courses. I'm so excited for that. It's one we've been preparing for a long time, and it's just the perfect timing now. So let's talk about living in the fifth dimension. You may have heard these conversations about 3D, third dimension. What does all this mean? So let's start right there and demystify that and make it approachable so we all can understand really what we're talking about here. Because it's not about a hierarchy. It's not about being better because you're in a higher dimension of consciousness. It really is about being ready for more in your life. And so, most of us come into this human experience and we spend the majority of our life, if we're not awakened or haven't gone through our own realization, in what the council refers to as the third dimension. The third dimension is a state of consciousness. And the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension, they are states of consciousness that result in very different realities and very different things that are possible for all of us. And I think this is why this message is so important. If you are listening to it, you are a way shower. You are here to expand the potentials and the possibilities of all of us living in peace, harmony, abundance, joy, well being, a state of freedom, a state of pure love. But it is you creating it in your own life and you stepping into the upgraded version of you, elevating your consciousness into the fifth dimension and creating your reality there, which leads to the potentials and the possibilities for all of humankind to really step into this higher dimension of fifth dimensional living in pure love that is available to all of us. So let's start with the third dimension, where most people unknowingly or unconsciously spend a great majority of their life experience. The basis of the third dimension is separation. So you are pure source energy, you are the divine, you are that which you might refer to as source, God, whatever your particular term is. We often refer to it as source or source energy. So you are having an experience of being separate from that, even though that's the truth of who you really are, is this divine being and an extension of source energy. You are focused in separation. You are focused in what many refer to as polarity. There's right or wrong. You look at things as good or bad. And you're in an experience where you lack certain things. You experience limitation from there. There can be fear. There can be a lot of overwhelm. And the level of consciousness is much lower. And so when we are in a lower level of consciousness, whether it's moment to moment or year to year, you summon a lot less energy. And let me explain this. So the council explains really the formula for how we create our reality, which is that consciousness summons energy into form. So, the lower state of consciousness, the lower vibration you're in, you are summoning a lot less energy. So, in order to move something into form, you've got to force, you've got to effort, you've got to work really hard. There's a lot of pushing, trying to figure it out, trying to make things happen, taking massive determined action. And while you can create a particular reality or achieve a goal doing that, it's a much more difficult way than we intended to live and create here in our life experience. And so oftentimes, I know I can relate to this. When I was unaware of the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension of pure love, you exist in this third dimension of separation. You think you're separate from what you want and need. We're separate from each other. We're separate from source, God, divine. That's something up there, out there that only few people can access. And so we walk around in an experience of separation. And in that, we experience lack, limitation, and fear. And so, as you begin to start the awakening process, so wherever you are in your journey, it often starts with an experience of realizing you're not your circumstances and your conditions. You can change things, you can transform things. And this is what the council said elevates us then into the fourth dimension. And the basis of the fourth dimension is transformation. So you can transform things, you can change things, you can fix things. But we often get in this way of approaching life and ourself and our circumstances in a lot of judgment. We're always judging what we need to fix about ourselves. We're always judging what we need to fix about our life. And while you do realize you can change things, we often get in a habit, essentially, of always judging what's not right and what needs to be fixed. Now, it can be more empowering than being in lack and limitation and fear. It can be more empowering to step into the fourth dimension of transformation. And that's usually where a lot of people begin their awakening experience. They realize you're not your conditions, you're not your circumstances, you're not your things that have happened to you, you're not your childhood. You can change things. And you do begin to elevate your consciousness and elevate your vibration as you step into the fourth dimension of transformation. The council often says, though, that we get stuck there for decades. And the step out of the fourth dimension of transformation into the fifth dimension of pure love is to let go of judgment of others, of your circumstances, your conditions, of the world, and most importantly, judgment of yourself. And it is about really embracing that everything is happening for you. So I recently had what most people would call a cold or being sick. And in my experience of really practicing and focusing on living in the fifth dimension, I knew that I was going through an upgrade. I knew my cells in my body were upgrading. I knew my body was releasing things that no longer served me, making room to hold a higher level of vibration and summon more energy. And so while I had physical symptoms of fatigue and a sore throat and a cough and those types of things, I knew it was happening for me. So, this is a good example of the difference between fourth dimensional transformational living and really stepping into a state of pure love, not pushing against a cold or some sort of misalignment in the body because you know whatever's happening is happening for you. And you can maintain this place of presence and consciousness and allowing and a state of pure love for yourself, even if your body is going through an upgrade. And this was a huge shift in my awareness and my perspective that was absolutely life changing to me in the wisdom that has come through with the council is anytime something's going on in your body, instead of judging it, what are you doing wrong? What do you need to fix? Slow down, come into a relationship with your body, communicate with your body, receive messages from your body, but most importantly, maintain a state of love, first and foremost for yourself. And I think that's one of the really big shifts that we make as we step into the fifth dimension. The council said the fifth dimension, or says the fifth dimension, is the dimension of pure love. And here's some things about living in the fifth dimension of pure love. There's no forcing and efforting and struggle. Now, some of us have been so used to it, it's habitual to think that the only way we can get things done is to push and force and struggle and effort and make things happen. I know I was one of those people, and it took me many, many times of practicing the council's wisdom, of coming into a state of absolute knowing, really coming into a place of trust that if you do slow down and find presence and stillness, that there's always this intelligence guiding you. The next step comes to you. There is no force and effort. You focus on what brings you joy. You focus on what you love. You follow the energy and let the light guide the way. And the next perfect step comes to you. And you live in this incredible state of grace, of life's divine unfolding. And they say that in a state of pure love, in the fifth dimension of pure love, your well being and your abundance is assured. And we all have the ability to step into this. They say what you want and what you need shows up even before you know you need it. Now, when I first heard a lot of these things, they were a concept. When the council brings through channel messages to us, they really are elevating our awareness. It may be a perspective that is new to you when you hear one of their messages or you hear something that I'm sharing from their teachings. It is often about first becoming aware of more that is possible. So, this may be the first time you've ever heard of this conversation of the fifth dimension of pure love. Perfect. It may be the hundredth time or the thousandth time you've heard this. Perfect. You are moving into creating a reality of the fifth dimension of pure love, wherever you are on that journey. It may be your very first opportunity to be aware of it. Or you might be moving more and more and more into starting to see some of these things in your own experience. Now that you have the awareness, you've shifted your perspective, you're starting to draw new experiences and new things to you. And then once you actually experience it as a reality, then it becomes truth. So when I first heard the council talk about some of these things, like what you want and what you need comes to you, as things start really speeding up and you step into this upgraded version of you, and it's like you're taking these quantum leaps forward in your life and things are coming together, that you find harmony in slowing down, that you find harmony in stillness, and you let the next perfect step come to you. You allow the logical next perfect step to present itself in the perfect moment because you know, in that state of absolute knowing of life's divine unfolding, you know that there's a greater intelligence here. You know that there's more going on here than your physical senses can perceive, and you start to live in harmony with that. So, if in this moment you come into stillness and the energy and the light all seems to be in this moment, it's not guiding you any particular direction, you know right where you are is where you're meant to be. And you get to a place where you start to understand that if there's no inspired action in this moment, it's because there is more being orchestrated here than what your physical senses can perceive. And in time, you start realizing, oh, that's what was going on behind the scenes. These things were being orchestrated. These things were coming into place. These things were moving towards you in your experience to then become your reality. And you do start to live in a state of what the council refers to as absolute knowing. Absolute knowing. And so, first and foremost, well being and abundance is our natural state of being. It is your natural state of being. Pure love is your natural state of being. The council says our experiences are truly meant to be joyful, creative, beautiful, uplifting. You are here as a powerful creator of your reality in your experience. And yet, when we come in or spend decades in the third dimension of separation, we don't realize that we have this power within us, that we can tune in and harness that power and summon the energy in any moment for everything that you want to create, everything that you want to experience, and for your own expansion. You probably hear me talk a lot about expansion. And part of being able to fully step into all that you are is sometimes letting go of who you thought you were supposed to be or what you think you should do. If you know my story, I was very involved in personal development from a really young age, and the whole concept of taking massive determined action towards your goal, and you can work and you can make it happen. And all of that is true. It really is. But I knew there was something more. I knew there was something more, and yet I didn't know how to tune into that. I also noticed that while I had goals and things that I wanted to create in my reality, oftentimes once I created those things or manifested those things, I didn't feel the level of fulfillment that I thought I would experience. And I certainly wasn't feeling this alignment to well being and abundance through joy and pure love. And so, much to my surprise, I started receiving answers to what were my biggest questions about who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? How do I live it? What's our highest potential? There's got to be more than just forcing and efforting and setting goals and constantly working towards these goals in order to feel like you're enough. And when I started to channel the council, they answered these and so many more questions for me. And it was like a truth inside of me that I had always known, but I had never heard anywhere. I had heard maybe pieces and parts of it, but nothing that brought it all together like the council's teachings. And I was in the corporate world. I thought that that's what I would probably do for the rest of my life. And yet I knew I had some greater purpose or some greater calling, but I didn't know what that was and I didn't know how to live it. I only really knew the third dimension of lack, limitation, separation, massive determined action. And the fourth dimension of transformation, always trying to change things, always trying to fix myself, always trying to, get to that place where you feel like you're good enough. But so long as you're always in judgment of yourself, holding yourself in the fourth dimension of transformation, you can't realize the pure love that you really are, the perfection that you are. One of the council's core teachings is you are everything you wish to be. You already are. You are everything you wish to be. You already are. It's all within you. It always has been. And yet, becoming is such an incredible experience. Think about where you were a year ago. Think about where you were a month ago. I don't know about you, but I tend to notice it's like every day we're having these huge shifts in consciousness, up leveling, if you might call it that. You're feeling like your experience is going into some new place. There's new energy, there's new levels of consciousness, new potentials and possibilities. And we are here on that journey to explore all of that. And ultimately, I believe once we come into what the council refers to as realization, the integration of every part of you, you come into your wholeness, you come into your perfection, you come into a state of pure love. And most importantly, pure love for yourself. It's interesting how many times, or the habits that we have of denying love for ourselves for sometimes the silliest reasons. And so, one of the most important practices of really living in the fifth dimension is not denying love for yourself for any reason. You can be the observer, you can be the witness of what you might be feeling or experiencing, but you don't deny love for yourself. And once you get to a place of pure love for yourself, it's really easy to have pure love for others and allow others to experience and create their reality just as you do without needing to really control that. You find that your experiences around you begin to change. There is a harmony in things. You find you're at the right place at the right time. And I used to be one of those people that thought, okay, well, if I'm in the highest level of consciousness and I'm in the highest vibration, then we should be getting the perfect parking spot right in front of the door, right? You should be getting an upgrade to first class every time you get on an airplane and you're in a high vibration, right? Or you end up driving and you should get every green light. That all made sense to me at some point. And then I knew there was something more to it. And it was an epiphany I had one time when driving, and I ended up getting stopped, and there was a train, and it was kind of a long train. And I remember sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to be late, and oh, I'm not going to be on time, and the train's going by. And the awareness came to me, what if you arriving at the perfect time means that this train had to slow you down? And it was just an awareness in the moment. I thought, okay. And I felt a little bit better. I let it go. I just waited for the train. There was nothing I could do. And I ended up arriving where I was supposed to be, but I was late. And my, logical mind was like, oh, you better be on time. You're not on time. And I ended up walking around the corner just the perfect time, which was late in my mind, and running into someone that was a divinely orchestrated meeting of someone who became very, very special and important in my life. And I've often reflected on that had I not got stopped by that train and I was on time, I never would have met her. And I think of all the experiences I've had in my life having met that particular person that might have never happened if that train didn't slow me down. So I got there right at the perfect time, even though my logical mind said, oh, you're late. These are the divine unfoldings. These are the ways you start to live differently in the fifth dimension. You find stillness, you slow down. You know you'll arrive at the perfect time whenever that time is. You know that what you want and what you need shows up even before you know you need it. Things begin to come to you in life, and it's a yes. It's a presentation to you of opportunities and potentials and possibilities. And that's what everything really is. It's not about good or bad or right or wrong. Everything is a potential and a possibility. And when you step into the fifth dimension of pure love, you start to really recognize that everything is happening for you and presenting you a potential and a possibility that's very likely beyond what you could have ever imagined or figured out for yourself. So I see we have a question here. If normally you push through sickness, but lately you find yourself choosing to rest and not push, does this mean you're settling into a fifth dimensional mindset? I think so. Peace, harmony, stillness, presence. You start to recognize, in fact, as I was sharing earlier, I went through a period of a couple of weeks where I was sleeping much more than normal. I had a cough. I had a bit of a headache. I had a sore throat. I had these things going on. And it was really interesting because I had, again, this awareness. And to me, this is, allowing by being present in the moment, the infinite intelligence that is always here guiding all of us in every moment. But when you're present in the moment and you slow down and you find some stillness, you begin to be aware of this infinite intelligence that is always guiding you. And it just happened to be the time that I was going through my upgrade was a time I didn't have a lot scheduled. I had one or two calls that week, but I wasn't traveling anywhere. I didn't have any big plans. But prior to that, the weeks prior to that, I was very, very busy and had a lot of things going on. And in the weeks coming up, in the next week and days and couple of weeks, I've got a lot of things going on. And the awareness came to me, what if this is the perfect time for your upgrade? What if this was the perfectly divinely orchestrated time where you can rest and slow down? And this is happening for you because it wouldn't be in your highest and best good to have gotten this upgrade or gone through this upgrade 2 weeks ago where you would have not been able to attend different, commitments that you had, or if it happened 2 weeks from now or a month from now. And it just brought great peace. Now, I truly believe we can live in a state of well being where we never get sick again. That doesn't mean that your body doesn't go through particular upgrades. How you perceive it is what's important. I have had more questions than I can count to the council in our master's class program and different courses and different things that we've done where people are experiencing some sort of misalignment in the body, either physical pain or some type of disease. And the council always brings them back to this question of loving your body. Do you love your body? Do you have a relationship with your body? Do you feel a connection? Does your body communicate with you? And one particular woman was going through this huge up-leveling in her life. Her dreams were coming true. She was creating her reality. She had literally stepped into the reality that she had been creating, and she was really excited about it. However, some strange foot pain presented itself, and her particular foot really, really was painful. And she tried everything to get rid of it. And she was asking the council about the pain. And the council brought her into a place of, well, what does it feel like? And asking her what message her feet had for her, that this pain was not meant to harm her, but was love, which was connection and communication in the most unconditionally pure, loving way from her body. And she tuned into her body, asked her body for the message, and instantly came to this awareness that her feet are what is carrying her into this new chapter of her life. And her feet are what will carry her into her new reality of the life of her dreams. And her feet were just merely bringing her to her attention how much they do for her, what a part of this new chapter was presenting itself. And was really powerful. And there's experience after experience of when you actually tune into your body, it is not trying to hurt you and harm you. It is truly a opportunity for wholeness, for connection, for coming into a greater wholeness within yourself, along with your body, and really loving your body. And the council often uses the analogy of a little child or your own inner child when referring to your body or things in your life and being able to still stay in a state of pure love. If you think of a little child that you love or an animal that you love, if they were in some particular pain or they aren't feeling well, right? Back to our question, if normally I push through sickness, but lately I find myself choosing to rest and not push, right? Does that mean I'm settling into a fifth dimensional mindset of having greater love for yourself and greater peace and ease? So, if you think of a young child or a child or anyone that you love, it doesn't even have to be a child, if they weren't feeling well and you were caring for them, what is probably the first thing you would say? I can think about this for myself. Oh, just rest. Is there anything I can get you? Can I do anything to help you be more comfortable? Rest. Let me care for you. Rest. Let me love you. Just rest. Let me support you, right? It's about having that conversation with yourself. Okay, body, you need to rest. I love you. I embrace that. I'll make time for that. You rest, you upgrade, and just starting to have this relationship of pure love with your body instead of trying to push against all the time. And I think absolutely that means you're coming into a fifth dimensional mindset of pure love for yourself and your body. Another question: it's hard as a parent to watch your kids feel these emotions. How do we help them observe and not feel so into it? I think that's a great question. It's understandable. Anybody that you love, I think this is an interesting thing that comes up so many times in our community because we just have the most incredible, amazing people in this community here that care so much, that want to make a difference, that want to literally be able to drag everybody into the fifth dimension of pure love, to living in heaven on earth, to living in a new earth reality. And we simply can't. We must embody it for ourselves and love and accept people where they are. And yet, your life can seed the potential and the possibility for them too. So, especially as a parent, embodying this for yourself first. The council says that everything always moves through you first. So, they were giving an example recently of when you send love to someone. Maybe it's someone you miss and you love them, or maybe someone you went through a difficult time with and you think of them. The council says, send them love, send them love. But understand that in sending love, you're actually first aligning to love within yourself. And you're actually sending yourself love in that moment. And so anything that you want. So if you think of someone who, this is in relation, relating to the question about parents and watching their children go through difficult emotions like lack, limitation, fear, separation. When you recognize, for example, someone's experiencing a lot of lack, we can't go down into the lack with them and drag them out of that lack, right? And sometimes we try, and the most well-meaning people and those who care about others, and especially parents. But first, you've got to align with that emotion that you most want for someone else. You've got to align to it within yourself first. So, how that might present itself to you as a parent, if you see your child going through an experience of lack or limitation or fear, ask yourself, what do you most want in this moment? What is the reality that you want to create here? And maybe the answer to that is peace. You must first create that within yourself. You must first align yourself to peace. Now, the process that the council gives for that is close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, go from your head into your heart. What does peace feel like? Might be calm, might be light, might be stillness. I feel like ease. What does peace feel like? Close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, move your awareness from your head down into your heart. And what does peace feel like? Feel it in your heart. And then align every cell of your body. And you truly do this through your awareness. From the top of your head to the bottom of your feet and out your fingertips. Align every cell of your body to the feeling of peace. Align every cell of your body to the feeling of peace. And then the council says, expand that around you, 1 foot around you in every direction, and then fill up the entire room with this feeling of peace, like imagining a light all around you, and you're aligning the particles of infinite creation within that light to a feeling of peace. And then you might see peace going through your heart, like a light from your heart to your child in this circumstance or someone you love. And you're holding the presence of peace within yourself and around you. And you're not doing it to try to change them. You're not doing it to try to fix them. You're doing it because you're a powerful creator of your reality. And as you create this potential and this possibility within your own reality of aligning to peace, it makes it easier for others to come into that alignment with peace as well. In fact, the council calls it vibrational resonance, that if you're in a particularly high vibration and you walk into a room with someone, you have the power within you because of the vibration and the consciousness within you to uplift the whole room into a state of peace. But you've got to know you have this power within you. So it starts with you, and you can replace this with any other word: joy, happiness, harmony, well being, abundance, love. If you're with someone who's experiencing lack, sometimes our habit is to just jump in and try to fix it, tell them what they should do, try to fix the problem for them. And all of a sudden, you're in a state of lack and you might feel a bit overwhelmed, right? First, align to the abundance within yourself. First, align to abundance in your own heart and your own experience until you truly feel that you have everything you need and more in this moment. You're abundant. Everything is within you. You're connected to everything. It's all here. It's all available to you. And when you really align to that and you can hold that vibration, that awareness of abundance, again, we go back to consciousness summons energy into form. When your consciousness is focused on abundance and you're aligned with abundance, you are summoning the energy of abundance that moves into form in your experience. And we really do have this power in our own lives. And as we influence and empower and inspire others, especially for those of you who are parents and are asking this question as it relates to your children. So I hope that was helpful. Another question. After 3 marriages and a couple of relationships, a soulmate romantic relationship keeps evading me. I'm doing the work. Can you ask the council why this is my journey? Um, uh, I thank you for this question because it's a really important part of living in the fifth dimension. First and foremost, you are the one that you have been waiting for. You are the one that you have been searching for. You are the only one that can complete you. When you find that wholeness within yourself, when you come into realization, which is the integration of every part of you, and you know that you're the one you've been searching for and you're the one you've been waiting for, and you come into this place of really experiencing joy and happiness within yourself, the council says one of the most powerful things that we can do is get into a state of absolutely nothing could make me any happier than I am right now. Nothing needs to change. Nothing needs to be fixed. Nothing needs to happen. Come into that place within yourself that absolutely nothing could make me any happier than I am right now. And then I would make a list of all of the people in your life that you love so much. Who are the most important people in your life? Maybe take 10 people, maybe take 5 people, whatever feels good to you. The people you really love the most. And what do you love about them? What do you appreciate about them? When is a time that you most enjoyed being with them or experienced the most wonderful day together? What do you appreciate about them? And just start to really notice that soulmates aren't always romantic. When you start to notice that your family members are your soulmates and your friends are your soulmates, and maybe some of your coworkers are your soulmates, you start to realize that you have soulmates all around you. You then move into this energy that is magnetic, is alluring, is open, is engaging. And I found in many circumstances, people get to the point where they're in such joyful, intimate relationships in every area of their life that the focus on being in a romantic relationship isn't creating such resistance. And in the divine, perfect time, your soulmate will come. I understand this question very well. And yet, after meeting my partner, I realized why that was the only time in our life that we were ready for each other. He was going through different things in his life over the past 6, 7, 5, 10 years, year, 2 years, 3 years, and I was as well. And I after met my partner and, really realized this is so, powerful and important and my soulmate, right? I was able to see how my life was preparing me for that relationship, how his life was preparing him for that relationship, how we were moving towards each other, but things were being divinely orchestrated behind the scenes. And if I could give you anything, it's to know and absolutely trust in that. One of the things I notice about my community, especially our master's class program, is we had a lot of questions about this particular topic. And yet, when these incredible masters that are living in the fifth dimension of pure love and living the council's wisdom started to come together, they were having so much fun gathering and playing and creating as masters with inside of that community that they found such great fulfillment there that they could take a little bit of pressure off of their partner. In fact, I've heard this many times, and this is my experience as well. At one point in my life, when I didn't feel like I had anyone to talk to about spirituality and consciousness and the council's wisdom, I really wanted my significant other to talk to me about all of that. I wanted that person to be into all the same things I was into. But once you find your soulmates, your tribe, your soul family, which they are here, you find those people who are living the way you're living, you can allow others in your life to be where they are and love them unconditionally and not try to change them. And, if you want a particular romantic relationship, you will absolutely have that. You may look back and see how it was all being divinely orchestrated behind the scenes. And you might just tell yourself, gosh, I wish I would have enjoyed those times when I wasn't in a romantic relationship a little bit more. Because at least for me, once the energy of my partner came in, it changed my life and it's amazing, but it's a very different chapter of your life. So embrace every aspect of where you are right now, knowing that you will always be expanding and you truly can experience the reality you want to have. Are there versions of us and others that are already in 5D? And by versions of us, I mean versions that were also in 3D. So here's what I would say to this question. It is in the moment. Where is your consciousness? Where is your vibration in this moment? That is what determines what dimension of consciousness you're in this moment. And that's really the most important thing. Being present, as I mentioned really early on, I had read the book, The Power of Now, years ago, and I couldn't grasp how powerful the present moment was. Now, fast forward years later, and I realize, oh, it's all about the present moment. And being in the fifth dimension of pure love and enjoying stillness and presence and slowing down. I can tell you when the council first started talking about slowing down, I was like, slow down. I'm not slowing down. Now I'm like, it is so powerful. It is so harmonious to not make any big decisions, not try to push and force an effort, to be in this state of pure love within yourself and let the next step come to you. Let it show up and let it just be a yes and let it be choiceless. You find that there's so much intelligence when you're in a state of stillness and you can live in harmony with that divine unfolding. So to me, it's in the present moment. In the present moment, what dimension of consciousness you're in. Again, it's not a hierarchical better, but truly, when you step into the fifth dimension, your well being, your abundance is assured. There's a harmony. You live in alignment with divine orchestration, and your life literally goes to a place beyond what you could have ever tried to force an effort and make possible for yourself. And I guess if there was any one message I'd really like to make sure we reflect on is talking about living in the fifth dimension. It is the most extraordinary existence. Those moments that become hours, that become days, that become your way of being. And you find yourself in the fifth dimension of pure love most all of the time. And it's really easy to notice when you're not there. Come back into the present moment, realign to the pure love that you are, and come right back into that place. I've been trying to manifest abundance in my life for the last 5 years, but things are worse. What else can I do? So sometimes we focus so much on something and we define it in such a way that it creates incredible resistance. And we might have wanted something for 5 years, and that's all we've done is focus on it for 5 years, and we really, 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 really want it. And that can have so much resistance that a pure, inspired thought of, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I got a beautiful bouquet of flowers? It would be amazing if flowers just showed up on my doorstep. And then all of a sudden, the next day, you get a knock on the door and someone has sent you flowers. There's no resistance in that because you haven't been focused on it, trying to make it happen for so long, right? So I would say go back to doing things that bring you joy. Focus on what brings you joy. Focus on the abundance you do have. Focus on the things that you love. And part of that might be, again, abundance, as the council defines it, having what you want and need to do what you're inspired to do when you want to do it, having a plentiful supply of the good things of life. And that's one of my favorite definitions. And by good, I don't mean it in a comparison to bad, but if you take a moment and make a list of the 10 things that you have a plentiful supply of the good things in life, it might be books, it might be plants, it might be friends, it might be knowledge. Start to realize the abundance that you do have. And again, the council says you don't get what you want and think you need, you get more of what you are. When you start aligning to the abundance that's already here and already within you, and you know you're abundant, you don't need to manifest abundant. Again, even the idea of I need to manifest abundance is the abundance is separate from me. It's out there somewhere, and I have to try to get it here, right? We are focusing ourselves into limitation separation. When you step into the fifth dimension of pure love, it's all within you. It's all here. It's all here for you. You start to connect to all the abundance you have and you start becoming more and more abundant. So I hope that's helpful. Um, um, let's see. When I listen to you, I can feel my heart expanding, but I have not heard the voices of the divine. What am I doing wrong? Well, I'm going to bring the counsel in here in just a moment. Um, for myself, a couple of things. I I didn't know what channeling was really. I wasn't trying to channel the council. I wasn't trying to channel or hear the voices of the divine when I started channeling. I was truly trying to understand my soul's desires. I was trying to understand what my calling was. I was trying to understand what my purpose was. I wanted to know how to live my highest potential. And I, never could have imagined that would start coming through me. I There was no book on how to channel. There was, well, there was, but it didn't resonate with me. I didn't have anyone to teach me any of this. And so, it was an unfolding for many years. But one of my great joys now is helping people easily connect into that. We all have the connection. We all channel in our own way. You might not notice it. Sometimes it's very subtle. I've given you a couple of examples of when I say I have this awareness that comes through. To me, that is the voice of the divine, right? That is the voice of the divine when you have these awarenesses. So starting to tune in. I'll also tell you it's often quiet. And at least for me, it took quieting my own mind so I could hear the voice of the divine, so I could hear the voice of my soul. I had to quiet my chattery mind that told me all the things I was supposed to be doing or should be doing or had to do more of. It was when I really allowed myself to get quiet within myself. What do I love? What brings me joy? What am I grateful for? What do I appreciate? When we start to elevate our consciousness by focusing on some of those things, we're so much closer to the voice of the divine and it becomes much easier to hear. I'll give you a simple exercise that I teach in my Art of Channeling class, that I teach in my semi-private Learn to Channel classes, that I share in my upcoming book about channeling being published by Hay House that's coming out. Create a special place for yourself. Close your eyes, take some deep breaths, and say, what does the voice of the divine want me to know? What does the divine want me to know? What does my soul want me to know? What is my higher self or your angels or your guides? And then just take out a piece of paper and start writing. Write whatever comes to you. You're going to feel like you're making it up. You're going to feel like it's coming from your head, but start to open that connection, give it permission to come through, make time for it, just like any other relationship. Slow down, ask, what does the divine want me to know? And then take out a pen and a piece of paper and write and let the answers start coming through you, just like they did for me and so many others. So I hope that's helpful. Again, living in the fifth dimension, we're going to bring the council in for their perspective and their message for us. If you are new to channeling, new to me, new to the council, I'm just going to close my eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. My eyes are closed when I'm receiving their communication. It just helps me to focus. The cadence of my voice changes a little bit. My voice changes a little bit. Just feel for the vibration, feel for the love and the wisdom and the incredible presence that they bring through. Again, go to saralandon.com. You'll find a lot of free resources. I highly recommend our latest one, the upgraded version of you from September 6, 2023. And I invite you all to join our new upcoming channeled course starting September 28th, 2023. Happily ever after, the absolute knowing of a life's divine unfolding. And if you're listening in the future, you can still find lots of free resources, and that course will be available in our My Course library. And you can always subscribe here on our YouTube channel if you're listening live on YouTube and be notified of upcoming podcast episodes live. So here we go. We are so pleased and delighted to have the opportunity to speak with you on this fine and glorious day indeed. We remind you that while our words to you are important, this is a vibrational experience of remembering the truth of who you really are and why you are here and all that you intended when you chose this magnificent life experience, because we assure you your life is meant to be so very good for you. You would not be hearing this if you had not chosen this time to come forth and fully step into all that you are and live in the fifth dimension of pure love. You may refer to it as heaven on earth, a new earth, the promised land. There's something inside of you that has always known that there was a state available to you of peace and joy and love and harmony and well being and abundance and freedom. And as you realize it for yourself, you seed all of human consciousness with the potential and the possibility to also elevate their consciousness into the fifth dimension of pure love and live in the grace and the ease and the beauty and the joy that pure love offers to you. You begin to be aware that you can accept in this moment what is and find peace, knowing that there is an intelligence that is always guiding you and orchestrating things on your behalf, that has such a love for you, that is the very essence of love itself. And you can begin to realize that love within you. You come into a state of allowing, and in the moments where you feel joy, you are in a state of allowing. You are allowing all that is being divinely orchestrated for you to come into your experience, to present to you in the most easy, effortless, harmonious ways. And as you allow all that you have expanded into, you begin to receive. Receiving is a natural state of existence, not working and forcing and efforting in order to deserve or be worthy. When you know your magnificence and you step into the pure love that is the truth of you, you know that receiving is pivotal to your expansion, that you are here to realize your soul's desires in physical form. Your soul's desires come forth, are placed in your heart, are inspired within you for the very purpose of your expansion. Living in the fifth dimension is an expansion of consciousness that allows you to access the very source energy that is the truth of you in physical form, to create your reality the way you desire it to be. And we will add that oftentimes it takes letting go of everything that you have deemed yourself to be so that you can fully step into all that you are. Most all of you only know what you are told you should be, what you are told you're supposed to do, what you have done your whole life, or how you have perceived yourself. And we assure you, there is a brilliance, there is a magnificence, there is a greatness within you beyond anything you have realized before. And now is the time for you to step fully into all that you are, to realize the pure love that you are, to realize that heaven on earth is here for you now, that happily ever after is not a place that you go. It is a state of consciousness that is available to you in every moment. And your life can be truly beyond your wildest dreams come true. More fulfillment, more meaning, more connection, more love, more of all that you are. You are here to live an extraordinary existence in the fifth dimension of pure love. You would not have drawn this message to you if it wasn't here for you now. Allow it in. Don't push and force and struggle and effort and create resistance. Allow it in. Don't deny love for yourself or your worthiness. Allow it in. Do not judge yourself or any other. Allow it in. And yes, you can powerfully observe in the present moment. You can choose the potentials and the possibilities that you want to explore for you without judging what others choose for their experience, because you know how powerful you are, that you are everything you wish to be. You already are. It is all within you. It always has been. And here now, dear Master, realize it within yourself, within your experience. Come home to the truth of you. Come home to the pure love within you. Come home to the greatness that you have always been, the brilliance and the magnificence that is the truth of you. We are always with you. We are always available to you. We love you. We love you. We love you. And with that, we are complete. Thank you all for being here and for being part of our community. I hope you enjoyed the message from the council and this conversation about living in the fifth dimension. We appreciate each and every one of you. Just know that you can come into this moment, take some deep breaths, go into your heart, and feel that peace and love that is within you. So have a glorious rest of your day. Bye, everybody.